Joining us now, former Washington, D.C. Democratic Party Chairman A. Scott Bolden and conservative commentator Carrie Sheffield. She's also the founder of Bold Media. So guys, we read those Nunberg quotes because he is one of the people quoted in this book who is not refuting what he is quoted as saying. He does say that some of those didn't have the full context of them, but by and large, he said those things. He admits to it. There are obviously a lot of quotes from Steve Bannon that have gotten a lot of attention. Steve Bannon doesn't refute what's in this book either. What's your overall reaction to what we have learned, the revelations that have come out of this book, Scott?
Well, I think it's just confirmation. You know, I don't need Fight and Fury or this book to tell me about the president's ego and the madhouse and madmen politics that goes on there and the infighting. All of this has been reported. So the book is just really a confirmation of it. But what stings and what is really hard for the GOP and the White House and others to swallow vis-a-vis their attacks is that it's coming from someone who has had a front row view, right, of this fury and this nonsense that's going on at the White House. And their attacks, the more they attack, as someone once said, it too protests too much. It might just be true. We know Donald Trump and his administration has no relationship with the truth. And so this is going to be a good read, but it's going to be a good confirmation or corroboration of what we know of Donald Trump's leadership so far.
Carrie?
Well, Anna, you're right that the comments from Steve Bannon have not been disputed to date. So in that respect, you know, I think that what Steve Bannon has been doing is he's been going rogue and he's trying to perpetuate the civil war in the conservative movement. And I think it's time to end that conservative war. I think it's time for people to come together. And I think that the president has been working with Congress. Tax reform was the embodiment of ending that civil war. So I think that Steve Bannon, by trying to perpetuate that civil war, it's very troubling. But in terms of the broader issues of the book, there's so many questions about this book that are really the definition of fake news. I mean, you've got Anna Wintour from Vogue completely disavowing the claim in the book that she lobbied to be the UK ambassador. That's fake news. And in 2008, the same author wrote a book about Rupert Murdoch, and the New York Times media reporter, he called it a borderline on parody, that there's so much falsehood. And even the book itself states that this book may or may not be true because there's so many misinformations and misstatements and contradictions in the book itself.
Well, I think it's important to note that while not there have been errors identified within the reporting, but the author of this book stands by his reporting, and frankly, a lot of what has been reported in this book is only backing up previous reports that have come out about this administration. And again, a lot of the people who were quoted in the book are saying, yeah, I did say that. And there are also third parties who were witnessing conversations that took place who have also confirmed a lot of the quotes. So I do think it's fair, though, to say that Wolff was asked directly whether he stands by the book. And he says, you know, I have recordings, I have notes. I'm certainly and absolutely in every way comfortable with everything I've reported in this book. That's what he said just today. He does get into some policy issues. You'll recall, if you had a chance to read some of the excerpts or have been watching our show, he talks about issues critical to the conservative agenda. Take a look at this. I want to get your take on this quote from the book as well. It says, in fact, Trump, probably favored government-funded health care more than any other Republican. Why can't Medicare simply cover everybody? He had impatiently wondered aloud during one discussion with aides, all of whom were careful not to react to this heresy. So, Carrie, as a conservative, are you concerned to hear this?
Well, Anna, it's, you know, I was one of those kicking and screaming former never-Trumpers who is understanding Trump. I think that Trump has been learning in real time, and I've been learning in real time. And like I said earlier, I'd really like to see the end of the Civil War. I think that as Trump has proceeded to be president and listened to the voters who were speaking to him directly, that he's learned a lot. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen in 2018 with health care. The fact that in the tax reform bill there was the repeal of the individual mandate, that was an excellent policy, and the president has been full-throated in support of that. And I will say, if Mitt Romney ends up running in Utah, where I'm from, maybe he could be the standard bearer to find a different alternative to Obamacare. I think that could actually be a great place for him to show leadership and to bring the movement back together.
Scott, are you happy to read the president may be open to single-payer health care?
Yeah, I don't think he's open to that. I think he's just, at his heart of hearts, he's really a New York Democrat. He always has been. But then for political purposes and for this, quote, Trump movement, he's had to change. He hasn't gotten smarter on it because the majority of Americans, over 65% of them, or I think maybe up to 80%, don't like the health care plan, which is why it's been defeated several times. But here's the deal with regard to Donald Trump. You know, he doesn't, the idea of his competence or even wanting to get smart on health care or any other issue is really at the heart of this book and the heart of those who would challenge Donald Trump, that he doesn't have the desire to get smart. He likes the trappings of the presidency, which is why he's not very good, but then you can't even educate him on the Constitution because he's so concerned with his image and ego that the depth and substance that come from being the president and the leader of the Western world just goes by him. And that's dangerous, i.e. he doesn't know that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is not his agency. He can't use these agencies, federal agencies, as his piggy bank or his food bank or whatever he wants to use them for. And that's a real problem for all of us as Americans.
Hey, Scott Bolden and Carrie Sheffield.
Very strongly.
Real quick, last word.
I don't disagree.
I thought you would.
He is preserving.
But those
he is
objective
preserving
facts.
Western civilization. He is preserving Western civilization by protecting us from the Pakistans, by stripping away the people who were harboring Osama bin Laden for a long time.
He's killing us. He's not protecting us.
No,
He's killing
no.
us.
He destroyed ISIS.
Okay.
Every day
ISIS
he's
is
killing
over.
us with his
Barack
tweets.
Obama
Stop
says
it.
ISIS was the JV squad.
Carrie, finish your
Anyway,
thought,
we're gonna
and then
disagree.
we got to go. Okay, we agree to disagree.
right.
Thank you both for being here. We'll have
Thank you.
another
Thank you.
chance another day to hash this all out.
Great. Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, guys.